What's up, nerds and nerdettes? Welcome to a special 30 and Nerdy podcast for the Halloween season. I'm Batman.
You sound like Batman.
I do sound like Batman. I am your Duke of Nerds, Sweet Tea of the Nerdy South, Batman for today, Tyler Mack, and I'm joined by Juicy One Kenobi, the Jedi Master Extraordinaire, Dr. Davis. What's up, Doc?
May the Force be with you.
Yes.
I look like an evil Jedi because I have a black hood, but my lightsaber's blue, so you know I'm safe.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. This is a special video, YouTube exclusive only. We're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite movies of the Halloween season that we watch. And we, of course, may have visits from the lovely Emma, our super fan.
It could happen.
Truthfully, our super fan. So Juice, it's Halloween. It's our favorite time of the year.
Yes.
What do you have planned for this evening?
Well, as we all know, Halloween has fallen on a Monday this year.
Yes.
So I don't know what all is going to be going on here in Morristown, but we're probably going to go out and find something. Maybe there's some trunk or treats going on, or when I used to work at the mall in Knoxville, we had trick or treating in the mall. So I'm wondering if our mall does that. Maybe we'll do that.
It'd be fun.
What are you going to do?
I have rehearsal this evening.
Oh, lots of fun.
Yes, but we get to dress up. So I'm going to dress up as Eddie again. It's easy. I've got the stuff. It's topical.
Do you have the denim vest?
I have a denim jacket that'll work.
Okay. I was going to say, I can probably bring you that vest.
It's okay. It's got patches on it now, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't. No.
It doesn't?
No, I did not go through with that yet.
Well, then maybe I will.
Okay. Keep me posted.
I'll keep you posted. So, our top 10 favorite Halloween movies. Is this a difficult list for you?
Yes and no. I was able to come up with 10 really quickly, but then the problem was I came up with a bunch more. So I have a top 10 and then I have some honorable mentions.
I understand that. This was a little difficult for me because I am such a horror genre nerd, but I've also always kind of compartmentalized Halloween favorites can be a little different than horror. There are some horror in the Halloween, but not as many crazy horror movies as one would think. But yes, I'm interested. Should we just alternate going from 10 down?
Yeah, let's do that.
Way?
There's practically no horror in my list.
I would imagine.
Not a surprise. Our lists are probably going to be more alike than you think, though.
Probably, yeah. How about you start us off there, Juicy One Kenobi?
All right. My number 10 is Warm Bodies.
Oh,
sort of a romantic zombie movie.
Yes. It's got the guy who plays Beast in The First Class.
Yes, Nicholas Hoult.
Yes. My number 10 is Halloween Town, a Disney Channel original movie. The first one is pretty good. It's hokey, but it's Disney. But even in my 30s, I have to watch it at least once in the Halloween season just to remind me of being in like high school at Halloween. It still was pretty celebrated in Morristown when I was in high school and late middle school. You know, we still had a lot of trick-or-treating and it hadn't been kind of phased out yet. So Halloween Town kind of always takes me back.
Same. That one was on my list originally, and then I moved it to honorable mentions because I haven't seen it in years. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, actually. But I agree. I have a lot of good memories with that movie. And I remember, like back in the day when you had the Disney Channel on, they would show the same movies over and over again around Halloween. And Halloween Town was one of those. You could see it 3 or 4 times in 1 week if you wanted to.
Mhm.
And I remember I was Sting Halloween 1998, I guess it was. And I was practicing my Sting, the wrestler, not the musician, the face paint while that
Yeah.
movie was on. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
A memory, a fond memory.
yeah, it's interesting how you unlock little
Yeah.
moments like that. Like I was doing this while watching this movie.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like when you're playing video games and it says achievement unlocked. It'd be
Yeah.
funny if a little banner popped up says memory unlocked.
memory unlocked.
So what about your 9?
Number 9, this one I expect will be very far up on your list towards the 1, 2, or 3 ranking. But my number 9 is Ghostbusters, the OG Ghostbusters.
Ah, yes.
Kept it pretty low because it's not one that I watch repeatedly, such as yourself, but I do love it. So
Yeah.
it's a good Halloween movie, of course.
It is. It definitely is. My number 9 is another Disney Channel original movie from the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. Under Wraps.
Under Wraps. Forgot about that one.
A classic. It's got
That's
Marshall's dad plays the mummy.
That's I was gonna say it's the one with the big mummy on it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I watch it every Halloween time. It's a classic.
I don't know how you have time to watch all these movies every Halloween.
I stay up later than an adult should.
And that's my problem. I don't stay up late enough.
Well, you get more sleep than I do. You do it the right way, as you should be. The older you get,
we got to make sacrifices. Got to make sacrifices at Halloween, though. So
yeah, that's true.
I got to step up my game a little bit.
That's true.
All right, number 8, if you're ready, is I don't know that this movie gets enough credit. But Sweeney Todd. It is a musical, of course, but it's very gory, very creepy, and it's one of my favorite musical movies. Even though I would say that the Broadway production is probably better, and Johnny Depp is wonderful, but they totally changed the vocal part for him.
Yes.
Sweeney Todd is a much lower range vocal part, and they kind of upped it a little bit for him.
He was kind of the lead role for guys like us.
Yeah.
Because tenors always got the leads.
Always.
There's always written for them.
Yeah.
But when Sweeney came along, baritones and basses were like,
yeah.
He's
the tenors always get those flashy, beautiful melodies, and then the basses are like always the villains. And Sweeney Todd is technically a villain, but he's also the protagonist of the story at the same time. So works out.
Yes, that's very true. All right, my number 8 is a movie that typically, a lot of people used to dress up as this character. He's one of my top favorite villains of all time. It's the first Nightmare on Elm Street. I've always loved Freddy. He's always kind of altered between my first and second favorite villain, between Joker and Freddy, because Freddy gets you where you're supposed to be your safest.
Yeah.
In your dreams. And Robert Englund is fantastic as the character. And he is how I think I would be as a slasher killer. He's not so deadly serious. He's a little jokey and punny and makes these puns and plays with them. He doesn't kill you in your first nightmare. No, he tortures you and makes you sleepless, and
kind of like a cat playing with a mouse.
Well, exactly. So I have to watch at least the first one. Some of them, they're bad, especially that second one, but I have to watch Nightmare.
What do you think about Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where it's like a movie within a movie?
I enjoyed it. I liked that spin. It was kind of like one of the first quote unquote stabs at a legacy sequel, because they brought back Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, but it was a movie within a movie. So it was like the first version of a legacy sequel, which you are seeing now becoming repopularized. I know there's talks right now between the Craven estate and some of the old producers that are still alive, and Heather and Robert about a legacy sequel of Freddy, since the Halloween ones have become so popular. Heather and Robert have actually started talking again about, what if we jumped in this boat and did a legacy sequel?
I would go see it for sure.
Oh yes,
And I know you would.
I would love it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did Robert Englund say that he had officially hung up the claws or not? But
he had said that little stint in the Goldbergs, that little episode he did in the Goldbergs, was supposed to be his last thing.
Yeah.
And then he did a con in England, and that was supposed to be the last time. When people say retirement, the last time, one more last match, I'm like, okay.
Talking to you, Ric Flair.
Yeah, talking to you, Ric Flair. I think he would. I think if Heather approached him and the script was right, I think Robert would be like, what the heck? What am I doing? What else am I doing? You know, like, I just did my stint in Stranger Things. Let's play Freddy again.
And probably that brought a lot of new eyes to Robert Englund. And
oh yeah,
probably to Freddy, because you know, you think like our generation, obviously everybody knows who Freddy Krueger is, but think about how many kids didn't know who Metallica was until Stranger Things.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You never know.
Up next for you.
All right, my number 7, another Tim Burton, Corpse Bride. That pair of Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter just is so good. Can't go wrong with the two of them. So I like this. I love the part where he sits down and plays the piano. That's my favorite scene. But yeah, I love Corpse Bride.
I had seen that somebody had fan casted the Skarsgård that played It, that played Pennywise, as the guy, and I can never remember her name. She did Queen's Gambit.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
As not the Corpse Bride, but the one he's supposed to be marrying. I don't know who they fan casted as the Corpse Bride, but I was like, oh man, they actually look like the live action Tim Burton characters if you put them beside each other. I like Corpse Bride. Do you play into the whole connected universe theories that are out there, like stuff like that?
Not really for the Tim Burton stuff. No, for the Pixar stuff I do, but not so much the Tim Burton.
Yeah, I get that.
But he does have lots of little homages,
isms. Yeah,
like you see. I don't know if we talked about it when we did Nightmare Before Christmas, but you know, Jack Skellington is seen in all sorts of other Tim Burton things.
So my next one is actually Ghostbusters. It's a little higher than you would think, but you know, I love Ghostbusters. I watch it way more than Halloween. I mean, I'm watching it at least once a month sometimes, or just have it on in the background if I'm doing stuff. And it's been one of those things that I talk about all the time, that I've gotten the nephews to fall in love with, and they sing the song with me, and they have shirts now and toys that are Ghostbusters. So it's kind of like me and Christopher passing on a little bit of us to them and to the next generation. So
Emma learned a Ghostbusters dance at her dance class.
Ooh.
So she sings the song as well.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, Emma.
What?
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Yeah. That's right. That's right. What's next?
Are we on number 6, right?
We're on number 6.
My number 6 is Zombieland, which I'm pretty sure we have covered on 30 and Nerdy before. So check that one out in our archives, probably a couple years ago. I am all about the comedy horror genre, and I think that they probably do it best, maybe with the exception of Ghostbusters. I am not always the biggest Jesse Eisenberg fan, but in this, love him. Woody Harrelson, spectacular. Emma Stone, my girl Emma Stone.
Abigail Breslin, fantastic.
You gotta sit yourself down, open up a box of Twinkies, and enjoy some Zombieland and rules for surviving the zombie apocalypse. Yeah,
absolutely.
The sequel, not so much.
No,
saw it the one time in the theater with you. That was my one and only time so far.
Me too. I haven't had the need to pick it back up. We saw it within its theater, but I haven't just been like, let's just watch the sequel again.
Yeah,
I've watched the first one over and over, but
yeah, same. Just didn't quite hold up to the first one.
No,
sometimes you take a shot and you miss.
Yeah, it happens. So my number 6 is The Exorcist. This was my first horror movie I ever saw. I was honestly too young to have seen it, like 7 or 8 years old. But it did not scare me. I mean, it was scary. I didn't run out of the room. I didn't really have nightmares. But this was the movie that made me fall in love with horror.
I would have had nightmares for a year straight until the next Halloween if I watched it at that age.
There's something about it, man. I mean, it introduced me to the genre. And it probably is a big reason that I'm into that horror specifically, possession horror.
Have you heard the talks of there being an official sequel, like upcoming?
I have not.
Yeah, I know there's been like little spin, like Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's connected, right? I just read this yesterday,
because they did do a second one that was Pazuzu kind of returned and Linda Blair was in it, but she was older. It was just not as good.
I'm looking into it right now. Yeah, The Exorcist 2023. No, this is a reboot. Sorry.
Reboot.
Yeah.
It's such a classic that the gatekeeper in me is saying don't touch it, but with modern technology and the right script, it could be good.
It looks like they're planning a sequel trilogy or a reboot trilogy.
Okay.
And it's going to be on Peacock. Oh no, Danny McBride has something to do with it.
Oh no.
Leslie Odom Jr. to co-star.
Okay. Well, if Danny McBride's just like producing it, then that'd be fine.
He is not the script writer, but it's based on a story by him, Scott Teems, and David Gordon Green, who will direct. Sure, Danny McBride is a great guy. I'm sure he's a stand-up guy. Actually, I've heard from a friend of ours who's worked with him before that he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But I have no love for any of the things that he has done or any of the characters he has played, much like old Whammy. Freaking
from Anchorman.
Todd Packer.
Yeah.
God, hate that guy. Anyway. Ridiculous.
Well, okay. I will have to see it before I judge it.
Well, that's probably a good thing to do. All right, we're on 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my number 5, Edward Scissorhands, another Tim Burton film on my list. I had a day at school like right before fall break, and in my second period class, half the class didn't show up because they were all going on their vacations early or something like that. Yeah. So that was like, all right, this is officially going to be movie day. And when you show movies at school around Halloween time, you try to be careful because not everybody celebrates Halloween. Not everybody is allowed to be involved with things involving witches like Hocus Pocus. So, after much debate among the students, I made the executive decision to put on Edward Scissorhands because most of them had never seen it before. Johnny Depp is very relevant today after his whole drama in the court. What was that, last summer?
Yeah.
So we put this one on. They were totally entranced with it. They loved it. We didn't finish the whole thing, but we got to the part where the the frisky neighbor is like, "Oh, I made this ambrosia salad for you," you know. And I was like, "Well, this is a good stopping point because things get a little uncomfortable after that." But I've always loved that look of Edward Scissorhands, and I love that he looks so scary, but he's like this sweet, soft, you know, lovable little guy.
Yeah.
Despite his outward appearance, which is what Tim Burton is all about. That's like his MO. So
Yeah.
But I love that. And Winona Ryder, Vincent Price playing the creator. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My next one would have to be Hocus Pocus.
Interesting.
It is in the this is 5, correct?
That is your 5.
Yes, it is in the top 5. And it is a Halloween staple. And it used to, I would say, is probably used to be higher, but as I got older and as more things came out, it kind of, but it is also always going to be kind of a top 5 for mine because of the nostalgia that comes with it, the Halloween feel, the leaves, the color of the leaves, and the what the town's doing, and it's Halloween, it's Salem. But yeah, I love this movie. I mean, we'll dive a little deeper into it in the episode that we did. We talk a lot about Halloween. So yeah.
Good choice. Number 4. I'm going to say the name one time instead of 3 because I don't want any shenanigans to happen. But my number 4, another Tim Burton movie, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Which I believe we covered last year when we did a whole Tim Burton episode.
We talked a little bit about it. We haven't covered it in great length, but we did talk a little bit about it. We did talk a whole Tim Burton. I forgot we did a whole Tim Burton episode last year.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But Beetlejuice is one of the parts that we did talk about in detail. And that is my favorite Michael Keaton performance. Even more than Batman.
I would have to agree with that. It's just, it's his changes in his voices, it's his spastic performance. But yeah, I would have to agree. It is on my list, a little lower down, but
okay.
So yeah, my number 4 is Trick or Treat.
Ooh.
Have you seen it?
No. Sounds terrible.
It's good. It's anthology. So like each little thing's in it is a different story, but it's all connected by this one little entity that's running around kind of witnessing this whole thing happen. It's this little kid in a sack. And what you find out at the end, spoilers, is he's this Halloween demon named Sam. And he's a pumpkin demon. But he looks like a kid trick-or-treating with a little sack on his head. But he's witnessing all these stories happen on Halloween. Anna Paquin's in it. Brian Cox is in it. I mean, it is star-studded.
Oh, okay.
You know, you've got vampires, you've got zombies, you've got, you know, creepy neighbor principles and stuff like that. Like, those classic Halloween stories that you hear about that people tell around the campfire actually taking place. Like everyone has that old story in their small town, be like, oh yes, the bus that crashed in the lake, and at night you can hear the kids crying, trying to get out. Those scary campfire stories. But the way that it's done is fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's got a lot of great performances in it, as I said. Anna Paquin does better in it than she does as Rogue, I can assure you. But
not hard to do.
yeah, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. Trick or Treat is one that I watch every Halloween.
Yeah, I don't do demons and stuff though. That freaks me out.
Speaking of, I believe that is the special that Johnny Has the Keys podcast is releasing today or yesterday, or I think they released it today on Halloween.
On Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat. They did it on Trick or Treat. So I definitely go check out Johnny Has the Keys podcast and listen to their breakdown of Trick or Treat.
They always do a great job. Even if it's a movie
Scary
that I
movie.
don't care about. All right. I know that you are shivering with anticipation. Say it. For my number 3 pick, and if that didn't give it away, I'll tell you, it's the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to go to one of the showings like at the Tennessee Theater or anything like that, but wow, it's an experience. I've only done it one time. If you have never seen the movie before, I don't recommend going, because you're not going to hear anything being said on the screen, because there's so much yelling and screaming and craziness going on. But everybody dresses up, and they have the organ come up out of the floor of the Tennessee Theater, and this guy plays a big thing on the organ. And it's awesome. It's a totally just fun experience. The Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite musicals. Even though we just did our top 30 movies at the end of last season, this did not make the list. But if we did top 50, it would be up there.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun, right? So.
Yeah, it is. And it would have been on my list if it's not a movie that I watch outside of Halloween constantly.
Right.
Because some of these movies I don't watch until Halloween. But yeah, I mean, I know that you make the smart decision when it comes around not to participate because of the career you have, and that's smart. I respect that. But I have had the fortune of getting to play Eddie / Dr. Scott in a production. And if you are a Rocky Horror fan and you're listening to this, and there are places around you that do the production, go do it. Even if you're just swaying in the background as a phantom and you don't want to be a lead, go do it. Go participate.
Or if
the
you don't
audience interaction is fun.
Yeah, if you don't want to participate, at least go watch it. Go support it, because you'll have a great
it's such
time.
a fun time.
Yeah.
Especially
fun,
at this time of year.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I would love to be in that show. I've always wanted to play Brad.
Which would be fantastic.
I could do a great Brad. But one of the best compliments that I've ever received was our friend Donna, who directed the local production of Rocky Horror. We were talking about it, and this is before Daniel was in the picture. She knew Daniel. She and I were talking about it, and I was like, well, I think it's best if I don't participate, blah, 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 blah. And I said, yeah, I wanted to be Brad. And she said, Brad? I don't see you as a Brad. I thought you'd be a Frankenfurter, which was a huge compliment to me. I was like, wow, thank you. I don't know that I could really do that one justice. It'd be fun. But yeah, considering the fact that teachers aren't real people outside of school, I don't do such fun things. So
well, in the Southeast, they're not.
Right. But yeah, I was definitely a little jealous that you got to do it.
But hey, one day, you never know.
Maybe
never
one
say
day
never.
Before I'm too old.
So my next one is, and I will only say it once, Beetlejuice.
Good.
That is my number 3. Keaton's performance, the characters, the ambiance of the movie, especially the explosion that Beetlejuice had with the modern crowd once they released the musical, and now a
Right.
whole different generation has fallen in love with it. So now I can talk about Beetlejuice with a different generation, and because of the musical, they have also seen the movie, and I
I
quote it constantly with Christopher and anytime David Horton. We're here for your daughter, Chuck. That's the one that we quote a lot.
Nice
Uh,
effing tree.
nice effing tree, nice effing model.
That was it.
It's just a great movie. I love it.
I do a musical Monday in my theater class every Monday, and we watch a little clip from a musical, and there's some sort of associated question. And last week was Beetlejuice, the
Sweet.
musical. So I got to introduce that to them. And that show would be so much fun to do if only just to be one of the look, anytime it's a movie where there's crazy, like wild characters, magical characters, whatever, and then there's normal people, I just call them muggles, right? So even if it's to play one of the muggles, like the
Yeah.
mom or the dad or the
Yeah.
realtor or whatever, so you could do that scene around the table.
Come,
Work,
Mr.
work, work.
Tallyman, Tallyman, banana.
Would be so much fun. Even just to direct a scene
Yeah.
like that would be a blast.
Yeah.
So that one is on my list of things I'd like to do one day.
Oh yeah. Oh, it'd be so fun.
And I'd be cool not even being Beetlejuice or anything fun, just to do
Oh,
the
yeah.
table
Yeah,
scene.
just to play Maxie, his
Yeah.
boss, the guy who wants to invest in his, just to get to do that table scene would be great.
And the part where he picks up the bowl, I guess it's like salad or something. He's like
Yeah.
throwing the salad around. That would
And
be
then
so
he
much
turns it into a drum.
fun. Oh man.
All right, your number dos.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, another Tim Burton classic, which we are also covering on our Halloween special of 30 and Nerdy.
Absolutely.
And we just did that recently. So Nightmare Before Christmas, huge cult classic. How many people do you see wearing Jack Skellington shirts or Sally shirts, or they have tattoos?
Or tattoos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that works at Tennessee Legend Distillery, one of our fine sponsors, who just got a really nice Sally pinup tattoo. I've never seen anything like it.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite Family Guy
They'll
cutaway
have
jokes.
tattoos of me.
Yeah. It's totally mean, but it's Family Guy. But it's Jack, and he says, "Fat girls with black hair have tattoos of me." It's terrible, really
it's
mean,
terrible.
but it was funny.
It's absolutely terrible. So my next one is the Halloween tree. I've discussed this a couple times.
Halloween tree.
It's a Ray Bradbury book turned into an animated movie where Leonard Nimoy voices starts out as an antagonist who kind of becomes a protagonist, Mound Shroud, this creature of the night type character, kind of a mix between Dracula and very mysterious. Ray Bradbury narrates the movie as well. And one thing that Ray Bradbury's always done, if you haven't read a Bradbury book or seen a Bradbury play or movie or something, he was always able to build fall or autumn or Halloween time with his words better than anyone could. And the characters in it are great. It's a teenage adventure to save their friend on a Halloween night who is down with an appendicitis, and they're following his spirit around to the different years. They go to like Dia de los Muertos. They go to the Egyptians and the celebration of the dead. They go to all these times and learn why they are dressed as that character. Like, why are you a gargoyle? I don't know, I'm just a monster. He's like, well, let's take you back to the building of Notre Dame and why gargoyles are scary, why they were used. What about you, mummy? Well, to teach you a lesson, I'm going to take you to Egypt, to where they bring out their dead relatives to have a dinner with them on Halloween night. Wrapped in,
I love that.
Like it's so cool. It's so cool.
I'm gonna have to look into this. Where
it is. You can rent it or buy it on Prime, Vudu.
So it's not streaming anywhere currently.
No, no. And it's great to use as an educational. When I was in
Cartoon
Morristown,
Network.
living still, I would let Carrie Stacy borrow it every Halloween, the DVD of it, and she would show her class the section on Dia de los Muertos, because she always did the Sugar Skulls and Day of the Dead stuff in her art class. So yeah, and we just introduced the nephews to it this year, and they learned a lot. And Colton still to this day will say, like, that movie that taught me why the skull face paintings are the way they are? And I say, Halloween Tree. And he'll go, yeah, can we watch that again? I'll go, absolutely we can. Absolutely.
That's cool. Wow. Well, this
You should
looks like
definitely check it
yeah,
out.
I'm gonna have to look into this. It's
And
a
pay
Cartoon Network
attention
special.
to the way that Ray Bradbury narrates, because he's basically reading a lot of what he wrote in the book. It's a lot of the narration from the book when he's setting up the scenes and stuff. It's just you really would have loved it in English, but you could do it in theater too, like how he builds the scene with his words. It's beautiful narration and writing. And Ray Bradbury's always been one of my favorites because he builds fall and the autumn time very well in his words. All right, moment of truth.
Well, my number one, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
Hocus Pocus is definitely my number one. This has been my favorite Halloween movie since first time I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Those three witches are, pun intended, so spellbinding. Like, I could watch them all day. They're just
Iconic.
so funny, so entertaining. Every time the Sanderson sisters are, in a scene, like, I'm glued to that.
Yeah.
And shoot, people, we'll talk about this in our special that we do on Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, but a lot of people hated on the sequel, almost as if, the first one was almost 30 years ago and this one won't be the same as the one that you grew up with. Imagine that. But I loved it. And
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Spoilers, if you haven't seen it, there's a post-credit scene where they set it up that there could potentially be even a third one.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm down.
I say, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. While we got them,
yeah,
do it.
Do it while we got them.
Everything that they do is entertaining or funny, and in the sequel, we even got a little bit of like a heartfelt, like pulling the heartstrings on the witches a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, Hocus Pocus.
Absolutely. So my number one, I kind of got a little unfair because these two, they don't go hand in hand, but I couldn't choose between them. I just couldn't. It's The Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously, and Halloween. Because
the OG original,
the OG Halloween, young Jamie Lee, Michael Myers, The Shape, the first one. It's the 70s. It's the night of Halloween, and just the music, the ambiance, bumping into kids trick-or-treating. And then on the verses, I couldn't eliminate either one of them. They both had to be in the top spot. And then, of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas. In our Halloween double feature this year, we talked at great length about memories and favorite things and unknown nerdledge, and I just could not eliminate either one of them. I too had some honorable mentions that didn't make it in, like Rocky Horror, like Scream, Friday the 13th, stuff like that. But these two, I think Nightmare Before Christmas and Halloween for me, especially this top five, Hocus Pocus, Trick or Treat, Beetlejuice, Halloween Tree, Halloween, and Nightmare Before Christmas for me, they embody the month of October for me. But yeah.
Good list. Good list.
Good lists. Good
I'll
lists.
run through my honorable mentions real quick. Halloween Town, which you had at number 10 for you. That one is solely just for little JD who loved that movie.
Yeah.
And I should check it out again because, you know, David Reynolds is in it.
I mean, it is
She's-
a little
she's
campy,
great.
obviously, but it's Disney.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Mm. That's
There's a lot of good creepy themed
Yeah.
musicals out there. They Live,
Oh, good one.
which I am campaigning for next Halloween on 30&Nerdy's.
Yes.
Gremlins,
Ah.
which is one I can't believe that we haven't done yet.
I know.
So we
Gremlins
gotta-
is good.
We can add that to next Halloween's list as well. Young Frankenstein and Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. Has my favorite Pixar line of all time in it, which is
Really?
when they interview the alien after, you know, they're in the Japanese restaurant
Yeah.
and Boo gets loose and they all discover, and then the news crews come out and they're interviewing people, and this guy says, well, I tried to run, but it picked me up with its mind powers and shook me like a dog. That's my all-time favorite Pixar line. I laugh every time. So I had to include that on the list.
I like that. I like that. Well, nerds and nerdettes, thank you for tuning in to our Halloween YouTube exclusive, our top 10 favorite Halloween movies. What are yours? Let us know.
Yes, do tell.
30andnerdypod@gmail.com.
You
Hit us
will
up on
share
Twitter.
your favorite Halloween movies with us.
Yes, you will. 'Cause I'm
But
better
all
than-
of our listeners aren't weak-minded, so that mind trick
That's true.
probably didn't work.
That's true. Thank you for tuning in, nerds. And as always, happy Halloween and cheers to you.
Ooh, ha, ha, ha.